More changes coming to the PTR signal tracer. Good Wednesday afternoon to you all, YouTube. It is 4:30 now, and will soon be supper time. Coming to you today to talk about the changes to the PTR. Now, Bob outlined some of those in his video, and before I go too far, I want to just say that I appreciate all the hard work that Bob does on this. Like I said, he's a consummate tester. He likes to make sure everything's going to go right and stuff like that. So, anywho, that said, let's take a look at the actual schematic for the PTR AF RF signal tracer. And I'm going to flash that picture up on the screen. You'll notice that this version of the schematic has two full schematics on it. The top one is the 14-pin version of the LM380, and the bottom one is the 8-pin version of the LM380. We have been some time now considering using the 8-pin version because of, for one thing, they're kind of hard to get the full 14-pin version. Now, there is some obvious advantages for the full 14-pin version, and that would be the heatsink ability of the chip itself. If you ground all the center pins, I think there's 6 center pins, and put a little blob of solder under there, they seem to heatsink better, and they haven't really given us any problem, or at least Bob hasn't found any problem with them. Now, his testing today, or maybe possibly yesterday, I'm not sure when he did it, but he did indicate to me that the 8-pin version, it does get some warm enough that you can't touch the chip. So he's going to do some more testing on it to find out if it has a thermal protection feature and stuff like that. Also, I was going to look around and see if there's any clip-on heat sinks or anything like that and that nature that could be used. So that's that. Now, again, going over the changes, whichever version you decide to try, there is a new diode in town. Yeah, we're not using the 1N34A anymore because of all the garbage it seems to pick up. It is a trash collector, I guess. But the Schottky diode that Bob has chosen, a 1N5711, you know, that's what we decided to use. And you can see, if you look at the, I'll put a close-up here of the section, to where you can see the difference in the circuit. The resistors are gone now. What used to be R1 and R2 are gone. And we have the original capacitor still there, C1. Now C2 is a little bit different. It's a 220 picofarad, and it's also a high voltage cap as well. And so that needs to be addressed. And so from there it goes up to the straight up to the RF part of the switch. Now, like I said, there's no resistors in there. So everything has been renumbered. The resistors, the capacitors have been renumbered because of the difference there. So you'll notice if you take a look at the bill of materials underneath, all those have been changed to reflect the new numberings. And like I said, that's good, and that's really the only big change, other than the MPF 102 replacing the JFET. Now they're replacing the J310. There is no real difference other than I don't know. I haven't really checked out the data sheet on it yet, so I don't know if it's a the same pinout on the what do you call it, on the IC, or not the IC, the transistor or not. But that will have to be addressed as well. So anywho, that's that. So like I said, that's going to be that will be on our board. Now the board that Bob is got designed for this, I'm going to flash up a picture of that as well. It looks like it's pretty good. Now of course it's laid out to where the transistor only fits one way or whatever. It's got an outline of how it goes in there. So it's not that hard to mess up, I guess. But anyway, that's that for that. And like I said, I don't think there is a little bit of a change on the speaker capacitor. I believe it was C8. I think I'm just doing this from memory. I'm not sitting in front of the computer or anything. But I probably have a copy of the schematic here somewhere. But this is all ROR stuff. So, but anyway, that has been changed. You can use anywhere from a 220 to a 470, and I didn't reflect this on the parts list, but I believe that's a 16 volt up and up. I've seen several people using 16 volt transistor capacitors on that circuit, so I think you'd be safe with 16 volt. So anywho, that's that. I think that's the only other change, you know, that was made. And so, you know, oh, the resistors. Every time I think I'm right, I'm wrong. The resistors R5 and R6, I believe, is the two that they used to be, R5 and R6. I think they've changed too. But it was the 13K, which was an oddball, has been changed back. So we're back to the original 15K on that one. And the 4.3, which is, again, not totally standard, but it is more standard probably than a 13K. It has been changed back to a 3.3K. So, or as Bob liked to say, 3K3. So anyway, that's the two changes there that for the MPF 102. So everything else, like I said, should be the same. Volume control's the same, chips, you know, whatever. It's just all that's the same. But I believe the revision for this new JFET is going to be a good one because of the gain, additional gain that Bob reports on his testing. So I think it's well worth the time and effort to find one. Now again, I want to stress this. Anybody that's already built theirs with a J310, it does work. We proved that it works fine. The MPF 102 just, you know, gives a little bit more gain. Again, that's a matter of how much you want more gain. If you want more gain, you can always change that resistor out, or that transistor out. There's no problem doing that. So that's kind of up to you for those that have built it already. For those that have not built it up, if you're following along, you know, you realize that we do make changes on this thing, and so that's just the nature of the beast when you're doing prototyping. As I'm sure Don over at Restorable Radios will tell you, that that's what you do. You try to find the best combination, and I think he did a wonderful, wonderful job on his. I want to add that because I really like that the way. The only part I don't like about his, and I'm not ashamed to say this, Don, is the and I know you put in a paper clip there to get into those you know, switches, but I would have preferred to have the switches on the outside where I could switch them, or even a toggle switch or something like that. And I may modify that, but on the one I'm building, it definitely will have that. And I'm going to get back to working on that again soon, but taking a little break doing this other stuff. So anyway, in addition to the two schematics that I showed you just a minute ago, I'm going to flash up another picture. Now this is we come up with this idea for this one here for a two-part board that could be mounted on basically this side and this side, like this and this, and then wired together, you know, with 3 wires is all it took was to wire it together. And was thinking about doing that with this, and I may still do that with this, because I do want to make a tracer out of this, and not this one particular, the one with the speaker. But anyway, speaking of that, I have bobs all ready to go here. I have repurposed a Chinese mailer, and like I said, I have the one of those speaker boxes with a speaker and the mic and the screws, and 3 of the tips. Oh, the Chinese 14-pin versions of the LM380 for him to play around with, and some of those 50K transistor type radio volume control that he also wanted to play with. So got those in there, and that's going to go out in the mail here probably when I get out and do something. If I'm just bumming around the house, I don't feel like going to the post office for that. So he understands that, though. So that will get mailed out soon. And so, like I said, the versions that, or the thing I'm just going to flash up now, if I didn't already, I can't remember if I did or not. But those are the 2-part boards, and they've been updated as well with the new parts and the new layout and the new bill of materials. And I did the same thing with them. Put one on top of the 14-pin on top, the 8-pin on the bottom. I'm getting tongue-tied for some reason, but so that's that. I think I have flapped long enough. It's 4:42 now in the afternoon. And I think I'm going to get this off to the computer and get it uploaded and get you advised of the situation. Again, you know, don't be in any hurry to build this, because, you know, we're in the middle of, like I said, prototyping, trying to find the best of everything to do. And sometimes it's an easy task, sometimes it's not. And there's been many changes, and poor Bob, I know he's probably getting tired of all the changes, but every time he makes one, I put it together and find out that it's not quite right. And so, you know, that ends up going back to he goes back to the drawing board. So I'm sure he's getting tired of doing that. So anywho, I just found a resistor in my, that's odd. Anyway, so like I said, that's going to do me. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you.